Hey everybody, Bootsy Greenwood here, breaking down Transurfing chapter by chapter. And today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about slides. Slides. Now we're getting into some really cool, deep stuff. So this chapter 8, Vadim Zeland starts talking about slides. He starts talking about the way we view the world, right? So my question to you is, am I looking at you or are you looking at me? And as that happens, how are you seeing me? What filter are you looking through? And that is what slides are all about. So let's head over to the whiteboard. Slides. Slides are filters. That's it. Slides affect the way we view the world. They're based on our belief system, right? Our beliefs system, which are just beliefs. And we get to choose those beliefs and the filter that we view the world through. So we can see, and that's also how we project, right? So when I was saying, are you looking at me or am I looking at you, right? Both of those things are happening, and they're both happening through a filter. And so the idea of this chapter is to customize our filter. That way, we can see the world in the way that is the most useful to us. And that way we can achieve our goal more easily, and we can start to implement this transurfing process. First things first, if we're negative all the time, then our slide is dirty, it's tainted, and it's only going to continue to bring about the same results, right? But if we start to modify our slide, if we start to change it, then we start to see more results that are favorable for us, that we want in our life. He talks a lot about the will to have as well in this chapter. He talks about going into expensive shops and how if you feel uncomfortable, then probably you don't belong there. He says, is the person who is a homeless person who's staring through the window watching the family eat, over dinner, is he ready to have that meal? Is he really ready to have it? Of course he wants it, but can he allow himself to have it? And what does that take? Well, first of all, it's not really even the physical circumstances around him that make it to where he can't sit at that table. It's up in his head. It's up here. So this is where slides come in. Later on, he also talks about amalgam, right? Which is basically a mantra, okay? So, and we can use these slides, we can create our own custom slides to visualize. And that helps us to project ourselves to where we want to be. So we're projecting all of life through our own filter. We are seeing out what we've told ourselves the world is. So that's what our map is of reality, whatever we think. And so that program is sort of always running in the background, right? If we think we're ugly, or if we think we're fat, or if we think we're stupid, then that's constantly nagging at us there. So the best thing to do is to just expose yourself, see the image that you want, and live it now, not distantly, not into the future, but go ahead and live like that is the case now, in this moment. So as we start to visualize, what we want to do is we want to start with a really basic layer, okay? Okay, this might be, you going shopping and getting that really nice fur coat or whatever, a Tesla, I don't know, whatever. Not my taste, but hey, everybody's different. So, here's you. Look at you. You're really pretty. I love you. And you're going out and you're going shopping and you got something that is 100% something that you love. Your soul resonates with it, right? That's the other part of this picture. We want to pick something as our slide that our mind and our heart can agree upon, because that's what's going to bring that particular sector of the alternative space closer toward us, right? If we fear something with all our heart and all our mind, or if we have intention with all our heart and all our mind, right? And that creates outer intention, which brings that thing to us. It sort of lights up the sector of the alternative space and then lights that path up and makes it more likely to become into the physical third dimensional world, right? That's the basic idea. So what we want to do is we want to start with that, start with something basic, right? And then we want to add to it. So, maybe there's a neat little cottage. Oh my God, right here. Looks like somebody needs to fix the window. But, you know, I mean, it's a nice little house, you know, and it's in the area of town where you want to be, and there's people shopping and people smoking cigarettes at tables or whatever. I don't know. You know, maybe you're in France. I don't know why I'm obsessed with France. You know, I don't know. It's a pretty cool place, I'm sure. I'm going to Spain later, so I'm stoked for that. But, you know, you start there, right? A sunny day, little bit at a time. And then as you go, you start to fill in more details. You want to smell the smells, right? Of bread baking. Look at that bread. And so you want to smell the smells of the bread baking, everything. Like you want to taste the wine, every emotion. As much as you can put yourself into that slide, live in that slide right now. And, you know, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and talk a little bit about Tufti here, the priestess, because usually what happens is this. When we visualize something like this, we're using our prefrontal cortex, which is an amazing apparatus. It's part of our brain. It's here in the frontal lobe, and it's what separates us from all the animals. It's the thing that allows us to visualize things, etc. So that's amazing, right? But here's the issue with that. This is linked to desire, not intention. Intention is desire in action, right? That already has. It already knows it has it, right? It's like faith, you know, all of those sort of buzzwords work for this. But what Tufti says to do is instead of using that, because that's your inner intention center, right? The third eye is your inner intention center, which is amazing. That's great. However, if we want to work with outer intention with our slide, then what we want to do is we want to completely relax our entire body. That's essential. And then we focus on this thing that she calls the plate, which is in this area behind our head, right? So if this is our head, the front, this is our nose and mouth here. This marker's just not working with me here. Let's try a different marker. But this is our nose and this is our mouth. And then here is our head, right? So it's like, think of it as like a braid coming off your head, okay? It's like a little tail, like this, okay? It's like a little antenna behind your head. And that's what the plate is. So when we visualize this stuff, we want to feel that phantom limb, that sensation off of this sort of spiritual body part that we have. Tufti says that, you know, as we get picked up into the script and whirled away and are asleep, then a lot of times that's the thing that is being used. That's our sort of, it's like, think of those little race car things on the track, right? They got the wheels here, but they got this thing right here, right? And this gridded electrical thing, right? And you ride around and that thing touches the top, and that's where the power for the little bumper cars come from, right? So think of a bumper car antenna. It's kind of like an antenna. It's like a spiritual antenna. Maybe I should have just started with that. So that's slides. Remember, okay. Slides. How we view the world is a slide. It's our filter, as we can project through it, and we also take in through it. So it's in and out. Everything we perceive through a slide, okay? We want to visualize. It's cool to visualize your end goal. If you know what that is, great, okay? That's fantastic. However, you're not going to get the results as if you start to systematically build a slide and expand your comfort zone ever so much. So visualizing the process, right? What's it like to get that plane ticket? What's that feel like? What's it like to be on the plane? What's it like to move in and look for a place? Visualize all these little processes, you know, and really live inside of those processes and experience it with your whole entire being, every part of yourself. Smell the smells, see the sights, make it as distinct and descriptive as you possibly can, and then let go of it, because it's never going to work out that way. However, you can still materialize your end slide, and the variables will come about of their own accord now, right? And so you've dispersed all this desire by taking action, doing this thing that you know you need to do. So now, instead of working with inner intention and all this effort and the wrinkles on our forehead, which is why I have a giant dot in the middle of my face because I've overused inner intention, and then focus it instead on the plate, which is our spiritual antenna, right? And so she says in the book to just practice this idea of using the spiritual antenna. I agree. Just practice it. Just try it. Just mess around with it. You'll eventually feel where it is through trial and error. There's really no right or wrong way for anybody to tell you exactly how. That's what I love about transurfing. Anyway, so that's it. That's where we're at. Visualize your slide. Remember that we might need to modify our slide by just expanding our comfort zone, adding a little bit at a time, one layer at a time, painting a little bit at a time, and fill that slide in, live there. Live your life like it's already like that, at least in the dream world, right? When you're visualizing the slide, and as you walk around, and that reality will gradually start to build itself around you. Hey, thanks. Check me out on Gumroad, right? I just made everything really cheap and/or free. Everything that I could make free, I made free, but some stuff is a little bit bigger than they allow me to make free. Gumroad.com/Bootsy Greenwood. And then also you can support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Bootsy Greenwood. I've got some really big announcements coming up and I'm super excited to share. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.